Hey guys, this is obviously Shane. I'm a college student at William and Mary. I wanted to make this video really quickly to explain what I felt about the debate and what we should think about going forward. And the main takeaway that I took from the debate is that Donald Trump is a real person. He is a real person. This is real life. We are not in some crazy place where he's existed for 4 years as president of the United States and somehow it wasn't real. It felt unreal for 4 years, and well, I guess it hasn't been 4 years yet, but for these last 3 years, and as he goes to as he's on stage last night, I realized this is a real person. And his behaviors are very predictable. I knew going into the debate that what he would do, by certain, was try to make it into the shit show, right, that everyone has been describing it as. But I wouldn't say that it was a shit show. I would say that Donald Trump created a shit show, right? Joe Biden was well prepared, well versed on the facts. He delivered the facts. He made great points and was sure to talk to the American people directly. Such a decision was brilliant to me, and it showed that Joe Biden is a good candidate for the presidency. But what is the hard part about this? The hard part about this is, what does this mean about Donald Trump? Donald Trump, obviously a child, obviously insane, obviously whatever. But there are so many supporters of his that it really is scary. It's scary that this could be possible, that people could support someone who was not willing to denounce white supremacy. If you go on the RNC website, you search RNC website, you click it, what opens up is a page that says, calling upon you. You need to help us make our donation goal, and it's Donald Trump pointing at us, and it's super weird, strange. Why does that happen? Why is he doing what is that ad trying to do? It's trying to call upon you to join this sort of movement, this regressive movement that pushes certain types of people behind and brings up certain types of people. And let me tell you, the people who are donating the money are not the people who he's trying to bring up. They're not the people who he cares about. But somehow there's a consistent message from those folks where they think that they are being seen, like they are being heard by him. And I can tell you that Donald Trump continued to speak to me last night. He continued to say the radical left, the socialists, the radical left, the socialists. They continue. You just lost him. You just lost him. That's what he told Joe Biden when he denounced Medicare for all, and he denounced defunding the police, and he denounced the Green New Deal. All things that are super important to me and so many of us progressive voters. We're thinking Green New Deal, Medicare for all, defunding the police. Those are our main issues. Those are what we want to see happen. And Joe Biden denounces all three of them, and then we hear from the president that Joe has just lost the radical left. Joe Biden is paying attention to the radical left. And to me, that means one thing: he's scared. We've made a significant impact on this country, on our politics. We're moving the movement to the left. But it also means another thing. It means that he's going to talk to everyone. Donald Trump is trying to convince the radical left not to vote. He is trying to convince the radical right to go out and vote for him. And then in addition to that, guard the polls, and intimidate voters, right? So what we're looking at here is he's talking to the radical left and saying, look at Joe Biden, he doesn't support you. And then he's also talking to the right and saying, look at me, I do support you. So he's trying to push off this thing where he's able to tell us progressives that we shouldn't vote for Joe Biden because look at all of the things he's saying. They're very clearly against what we are standing for. And then he's also able to say at the same time, conservatives look at me, I believe in what you're saying. Both of which are things he's doing for purely political reasons. He is trying to he's trying to repress, and he's trying to win votes. And those choices are completely inhonest. They're not honest. They're not genuine. There's nothing true about Donald Trump. And he isn't trying to see you. He doesn't care about you. That's why he's talking to me, the radical left. That's why he's talking to you, the white supremacists. Donald Trump does not care about the American people on the right or on the left. He isn't a president for anybody but the rich and powerful. And being able to see that is exactly what's going to allow us to move forward to get Joe Biden elected, which is something I'm not extraordinarily excited about. I'm not excited about a Joe Biden presidency for even a moment, but I'm telling you, we should be excited about a Joe Biden presidency after 4 years of Donald Trump. This was real. We endured 4 years under this man who cannot listen to anybody for even a second, who won't allow Joe Biden to say anything in the debate. Anything. All the things that Joe Biden was saying were correct. They saw that Joe Biden made about 4 false or misleading statements. Well, everything Trump said, pretty much everything, was a lie. The freaking infamous waste paper basket. He went on and on and on about the waste paper basket. He went on about the mailmen in West Virginia selling votes. Well, the reality of that was the mailmen in West Virginia were changing votes from Biden to Trump. It's like he is lying to everyone in an effort to gain votes, gain support, also repress votes, repress Biden support. And he's doing all of these things in a in a way we've seen before, just as any dictator would. And it's scary because when we get to the part of the debate where Joe Biden says, where Donald Trump says, stand by, he knows what these people feel. He knows what they think. He's excited. He's excited. He believes in this idea that if I lose this election, stand by. I'm not leaving. Wait around and defend my presidency. Like a bunch of schmucks. Like, seriously. Like a bunch of schmucks. Like a bunch of Nazis. Like a bunch of people who followed Mussolini and followed other dictators in the past. That's what he's looking for. That's what that stand by means. These people who are radically married to the idea of white supremacy, radically married to the idea of the status quo of racism and patriarchy. Those people are so frightened by the idea that those things are going away. And I tell you, those aren't the rich people. Rich people like racism and they like patriarchy, but they don't really care that much because they've got the money. But they like those things because they fuel capitalism. But the poor people like it because when you're a poor white man and you ain't got shit, and the only thing you have is racism and sexism. Those are the only things you have. And we talk about whiteness. It's almost like property. It's something that makes white people feel really good about themselves and something that they want to defend eternally. Okay, and so Donald Trump knows this. He is able to identify that white people love being different. They love being white because being white gives them the upper hand over folks, even if they're in the same social class, even if they're making the same amount of money. The idea that they are white makes them happy. And this goes all the way back to the Bacon Rebellion when blacks and whites and Native Americans together fought against the aristocracy in America. And then when the aristocracy saw that they were able to unite together, they're like, oh, no. We don't want the poor whites uniting with the blacks and the natives. So what they decided to do was they passed laws that made that created a caste system and put white people above black people, and then we did not see a united rebellion again. That is a creation of race. Right there. The creation of a racial hierarchy is through slavery, is through laws in the that come from the Bacon Rebellion. These things are real. They created that. They created that to keep us from uniting together. And Donald Trump knows that. And he continues to fuel white supremacy, because when you fuel white supremacy, you keep the people from uniting. The poor people from uniting together to say, no, we will not take this anymore. We will not allow you to pay $700 some in taxes every year when you're making millions of dollars. We will not allow that. What we will do is we will unite as a people and we will vote against you to get you out. And then once he's out, we'll see some moderate changes. And then in the midterms, we're going to elect progressives. We're going to fight hard. We'll elect progressives. And then from there, we'll hopefully get a progressive president who will defeat Kamala Harris in 2024. But as for right now, our fight is here. Our fight is against Joe Biden. Or excuse me. Our fight is against Donald Trump. Our fight against Joe Biden is in the near future. But our fight right now is against Donald Trump, because we know one thing. We know that racism is a hoax. Sexism is a hoax. All of those things that control our behavior are hoaxes that try to keep us from uniting together. They try to keep us from creating a democracy that is fair and equal for all people. They try to create places where black people suffer. They try to create places where women do not have access to things that they need, so that they will suffer under the hands of men. Men who do not even choose to make women suffer. We don't choose to grow up in a society that teaches us that we are better. But somehow we come to believe that. That is disgusting. We have to live in a society where we can overcome all of those things. But Donald Trump is a regressive candidate. He's a regressive candidate. He's not a conservative. He is regressive, which means he wants to take us backwards. There's a difference. Conservatives want to maintain the status quo. That's Joe Biden. He wants to keep things the way they are, or more like the way they were in 2016. Donald Trump wants to take us backwards. There's a distinct difference between that. The progressives, the folks on my side, we want to take us forward. But, right now we have a choice between the status quo and we have a choice between regression. And I think that those two choices are extraordinarily clear. And if you are not voting for Joe Biden this fall because you are a progressive, I understand your decision, and I don't seek to shame people into voting for Joe Biden, because I understand why you wouldn't. But I want to say that if we don't unite together and show that across racist lines, across gender barriers, across all of those things, we can unite and create a country that believes in a promising future, a stronger together future, as the Hillary campaign talked about, as a forward future, as Obama talked about, as a change and a hope future, as President Obama talked about. If we aren't a country that believes in those things, then what are we a country that believes in? Make America great again is a regressive statement. Again would say something to the past. And as long as that is true, as long as we are choosing between regressive candidates and candidates that seek to unite us under the status quo, I think that we should be choosing the status quo. And that's really unfortunate. That we would have to do that, but we're gonna have to move forward toward, like I said, Biden Harris. In 2 years, we'll fight him in the midterms. In 4 years, we'll fight him in the primaries. So yeah, that's all I really have to say, is that Donald Trump is a racist. He's a white supremacist, and if you vote for him, we aren't friends. and that's not a bold statement. I cannot tolerate people who vote for Donald Trump. And that is not because we have political differences. It's because we have differences on the basic truths of life. That race doesn't exist, gender doesn't exist. All that stuff is bullshit. And yet you decide to vote for someone who ranks human beings on those ideas. As long as you believe that human beings can be categorized and ranked and put in a hierarchy based off gender, class, sexual status, etc., we cannot be friends. Because we are not even talking from the same level. We're not talking the same language. We're not talking in a way that makes that I can even comprehend. Because what you're saying is that white people are here, black people are here. Even if you say you live your life without seeing color, by voting for Donald Trump, you are voting for that type of system. By voting for Donald Trump, you're voting for the patriarchy. By voting for Donald Trump, you are voting for class, for the aristocracy. I can't be friends with you. I cannot be friends with folks who don't support those who are at the bottom, who believe in systems of hierarchy. That is not something that I can do. If you believe in Republican values, if you believe in all those, whatever that is, we can talk. But voting for Donald Trump, voting for racism, voting for sexism, voting for the continuancy of all of these systems, and even the regression even further backward into those systems, yeah, it's not going to work for me. Well, that's all I have to say about that. I hope that everyone is having a good day, continues to have a good day, and most importantly, is staying healthy and safe. Unlike our president, please make sure that when you leave, you're wearing your mask, and you're wearing your mask at all times. Wearing your mask at all times is not a stupid thing to do. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you should take it off, because the fact is, you never know when someone's going to come up. And more importantly, we wear the mask to prove, or to make a statement that we understand and we respect those around us. If someone's 200 feet from you, you should still wear your mask because you're saying, I respect you. If we end up having to cross paths, I'm going to make sure that I keep you safe, and I hope you'll do the same for me.